see this little message here. Where is it? High flow. Yes, today I think I have officially voided the void because I am feeling a very high flow. Billboards are also speaking to me today, in it to change the game. Lots of things are speaking to me today. My third eye is gonna bust out of my head. Transformation is our favorite tradition. Make your way. That's a message for me today. Hey, it is your girl Abby, aka New Age Coach here, and I am lighting the way for those on their way to the light. And I'm back, baby. For those of you who are just tuning in, make sure to check out my second float and the void video, which I will link everything I talk about in this video below. But that's where I explain that I've been in this sort of spiritual funk lately. And those of you who have been following my journey, you've already been there, done that, and watched that video. Firstly, thank you. But boy, do I have a story for you today on how I know, faux show, that I'm out of the void, baby. So yesterday, it legitimately felt like my head was going to pop off. That like my third eye was just going to explode out of my forehead, like you hear in that opening clip that I just shared. And that's because yesterday I had so many downloads, synchronicities, epiphanies, confirmations, affirmations. Like you can see now, I have so much energy in me. I literally cannot stop moving, okay? Like I am sorry, but it's just so much inside. But I just yesterday could not even keep up with the momentum or just believe how divinely beautiful the whole day just was. And I would love to explain every little thing that happened as well as these kind of bigger things that happened, but that would probably be a 2-hour video. And fear not though, I got plenty of messages that means I will have 2 new videos in the works from everything that I kind of gathered from yesterday. So make sure that you tap on that subscribe button, that bell button, so that you don't miss those 2 new videos when those come out too, because they're equally as good. But here we go. All right, for starters, one of the messages I got loud and clear yesterday was understanding what's meant for me in my eyes only, and what's meant for me to interpret only, versus kind of what I should be sharing out, what I should be communicating to larger audience or masses. And the message that I got was, if it's for me and just for me, then I need to be in that moment. I need to be paying attention, because I could be missing these tiny little breadcrumbs or puzzle pieces that are gonna not make me connect the dots the way I should. So instead of trying to focus on recording it or like getting a picture of it, like no, just pay attention and be in this moment. And an example of how I got this message is that basically I could not, for the life of me, get pictures or videos of certain kind of proof to back up some of the stories that I'll be sharing today. And it's gonna be mostly around birds and airplanes that I'm going to be talking about in the video. And as hard as I tried, it was just like perfectly orchestrated by the universe, where I just logistically couldn't get the shot. And there would be times that I'm witnessing like 20 geese like flying overhead, or like 3 airplanes going in different directions, while this white bird that I'm going to be talking about is like in the air with these 3 planes. And I'm sitting there like, why are there 3 airplanes flying at the same time in the plane? Like I've never seen that before itself, which is weird, but like something is happening here. And just by the time I would get my phone off the charger, try to put in my password, try to open up my video camera, which you see I struggle with and have, or gonna see I struggle with and have no idea how to clearly use, like it wouldn't take it, or like I dropped the phone or something would happen and I just wouldn't be able to get the shot. Like the birds would just be flying over me, or the angle that I was in would be blocked by the car thing, or like something in the distance. So the message is really just like, you know, I shouldn't have been recording those moments. Those were for me. And mom, you know, if you're watching this part, just block your ears when I'm talking about how I wasn't paying attention to driving, but you know, they say Jesus takes the wheel. So yeah, here are some clips now that you're gonna see where I clearly don't know how to use a cell phone and I'm not sure if I got the shot or not, and really realizing that something bigger is at play here. There's something going on with the birds. Where'd he go? Jeez. I'm driving, and today something is going on. Look at this. Hold on. Oh crap, I can't get it on video. Where is it? Can you see him flying? Right above me as I'm making this video. I don't know how to turn this damn camera. I gotta learn how to do that. I don't even know if you saw it. My point is, there is something going on with birds today for me. This one bird, flocks of bird, geese, look at them. If anyone knows how to flip an iPhone 10 camera, like when it's facing you to the other side while you're recording, let me know, because I just saw, again, 2 of these white birds and then more geeses, 2 geeses. I've seen this one single geese flying all morning. Yesterday I saw a goose, or I guess if it's one, it's a goose, but something is happening today. And every time I'm seeing these birds, these white birds, these little birds flying by, especially geese or a goose, every single time I'm seeing this, I'm also seeing a plane take off. I've seen 17 planes in the air, and I realize there's a connection to planes, and we call planes birds, but I don't know what all this means, and I'm trying to get it with the camera. Sometimes you're not meant to get it for a camera, it's for me. And I know something's happening today. I woke up again feeling like, what? And see, birds. I know the birds are usually everywhere in nature, but for me, I've never just realized their presence so much. I've never been that much aware of them. And there it goes. And all around me today, what does this mean? This guy has been following me for a couple days now. All around me. See him? He just keeps following. He's closer than it looks in this video. Yeah, so I'm in this moment in my car realizing that, okay, what is happening? You know, this isn't like when I normally see a bird. You know, obviously there are birds in nature every day. I see birds all the time, but like, you know, heck, like I drive that same road for the past 5 years. Those same birds could have been there every day for the last 5 years in the sheer amount that I saw them, or the sheer frequency that I saw all of these things. I don't know, because I wasn't aware of it at that time. I wasn't tapped in that time, so it didn't have that meaning for me before. I never felt the way I did, never been so aware of their presence that way that I was yesterday, like I said in that video. And you know, when we're talking spirituality, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. We're not just talking about seeing with, you know, your eyes, your physical eyes. You're seeing with your mind's eyes. So everything is different. And yesterday it was like this veil, like another layer of a veil just lifted. Like there's something new out here. Like pay attention to this. Like you're elevated a little bit. I'm leveled up a little bit. It's not the same every day. It's this intuitive feeling. It's this knowing feeling. It's this gut feeling. It's this heart feeling. And you can't really put these things in words as much as I try through this channel, because it is tied to that feeling, and it is tied to just that knowing, like I said, and it's tied to you. The birds that I was seeing for the most part, you know, when I first initially realized or became aware that this was happening, were these big white birds. And I have no idea what the birds are called, any of them in this video, outside of like some of the ones we'll talk about. But for majority, I don't know what kind of birds they are. But they have these long, like massive, like wingspans. And then I saw, like I mentioned in my clips there, flocks of geese, or just a single goose flying. And I saw that multiple times. And then I saw these cute little birds just like, you know, playing along, flying along, dancing, and they dart right in front of my car, or right up coming for me, or like right in front of my eyes. Very playful. It was very like, I'm here, and like I'm around you, and just like they had so much energy. It was like ping, 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 like these cute little birds. They were just so cute. And every time I was seeing birds, the big white ones that I'm talking about, the first ones, I would see an airplane. Like it was just so bizarre. Like I have just never seen so many airplanes in my entire life, like in one day. Clearly, like I mentioned in that clip, obviously I know there's some connection, but in terms of symbolism, you know, people call airplanes birds. I'm having kind of this awareness of all these birds. You know, I think at a high level that airplanes and birds, you know, they kind of symbolize the same themes at their very core level. You know, aspects of freedom, of taking of risk, of soaring, of flying, of spreading your wings, you know, for your goals and for your happiness, and just living your purpose. And you know, I'm going to get into some meanings later in the video too, but I don't think it's coincidence that I was seeing airplanes every time I kind of saw this white bird specifically. I'm pausing here in the middle of the video because I do realize how fast I have been talking, but again, like I feel like my body is literally like this, guys. Like there is so much in me. I'm sorry. Like if you need to understand what I'm saying, like use the slow-mo. Like I don't know if you can do that. I'm sorry, but try to keep up, okay? I'm sorry. Keep up. All right, back to the story. So yes, birds, loads of birds. Like there were times where I'm telling you, I couldn't even count the number of birds. It was like a scene out of a movie. I think there's like that scary movie called Birds, except it wasn't scary. But like the sheer amount of just these white birds, like it's
unreal, okay? But just know that I saw so many, so many, singularly, like just flying every single time I was getting a message or like pay attention, but also like, I think it was about 3 different times along my 2.5 hour commute that it were these bursts of like all of these birds. And you know, as I ended up pulling into work, I was thinking about what I just experienced on my ride in, you know, seeing all of these birds. A song on the radio, it caught my attention, and I just listened for a second, and it was like so much pulling me like literally to the song that I had to stop my car. Like I didn't even pull into the parking lot, like where I could actually park my car in that space. Like I pulled into the parking lot and just stopped immediately, like in this random spot, like didn't even look to see who was behind me or anything. Like legit just stopped my car so that I could listen to it and then try to get a recording of it, because I knew it was speaking to my soul. This song was basically saying, you know, you'll never stop fighting for me, even when I can't fight for myself. You stood up for me and I can't even stand up for myself. And you're there in my darkest night. Even when my faith is weak, you're still there for me. You still stand by my side. And that was the message. That's what the song lyrics actually were saying. In the context of this video, Voiding the Void, that was like closure to me. It was confirmation for me that yes, you know, it was just acknowledgement and affirmation of the journey that I've been through, and how I knew in this moment that something special was happening because I'm out of that void. It was the reminder that even though I was in that spiritual funk, in this kind of space, that I wasn't alone. And even when my faith did get a bit shaky there, as you saw in my video, that energy that I had coming from this drive in, from all the birds and all the messages, it was just perfect again for that closure that I'm here. I've always been here. I know you've been through a lot, you know, because that was another message. Like, I know you've been through a lot in terms of like darkness, and just even before my spiritual awakeness, just I feel like I've been put through the ringer over the last few years emotionally. And it was just like, you endured it. You made it. Like, now you're on the other side. It was a pat on the back, like, okay, you did it. So now you earned this step, this new layer. We've opened up this new veil, like I talked about. Like, you're here now, and it's this new world, this new layer that you're gonna start seeing. And it's only upwards and it's only onwards all the time. And it's gonna be even more and then more and more every time we go through these cycles of love and light from here. So check out the quick clip of the song lyrics. Just, you know, I hope these lyrics touch your heart if you're out there going kind of through a little bit of a spiritual funk and just need to hear this message too. After hearing that song, you know, I was just in this energy of pure gratitude. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, I needed that so much. And it was bliss. And I was just like, oh, you know, I could exhale. And I started driving so that I could go park my car, and look at this clip.
Are you kidding me, guys? As I've been talking about seeing birds all day, you just heard that song. And this guy is just sitting on the pole right in front of me. What do you want, little man? What message do you have for me? There's other poles in the lot, and he's gone. That bird has been following me all day. Oh my God, what do you... Tell me the message.
All right. What we are going to do is talk about some stories, and I apologize. They're not going to be in chronological order from this point on. I'm just going to kind of give you bits and pieces of what happened. And the first way I want to do this is by telling you a story about kind of the start of my day and how this whole glorious day began, and the ending of that day and how glorious that was, because it was like a full circle message from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. And then in the rest of the video, I'll just give you little examples of other cool things that have kind of happened yesterday as well. The night before this glorious day, I'm dubbing it just like a glorious day. I've said it like 5 times, and I'll say it 5,000 million more times because it was so beautiful. But the night before this glorious day, I had gone to bed late, around like 1 a.m. because I had a work project that was due. I bring this up because even though I went to bed at 1 a.m. that night before, when I woke up on this morning, it it was like ping, my eyes just like opened up, no alarm clock needed. Like I was so energetic, so ready, like so feeling like, wow, that was easy just getting out of bed. That has never happened to me. And I was just like, okay, today it must be a good day today. Like I already felt that energy that something was in store for me. As a side note, again, I told you this wasn't going to be in order, but stay with me. As I got into my car and started driving later on, the first license plate that I saw, you know, my infamous license plate, it said psyched. And it was just affirming too that that day was gonna be an amazing day for me. And plus, the funny part is I didn't even realize that the license plate had like a bird symbol on it until I was making this video, which I think it's funny. But the day started already giving me those little breadcrumbs and hints like that I didn't even know at that time I was seeing it, that it was letting me know that it was gonna be a good day and that birds would be a part of it. So yeah, going back. So I got out of bed, I was feeling good, and I walked over to my vision board. So I had created these vision boards for myself, and I threw them up on the wall in my bedroom. And honestly, I haven't really spent too much time with them, like really getting into them and putting feelings into them, and like, you know, just spending time visualizing with them. And I'm gonna do that. I just have not, for some reason, like invested the time in them outside of just having them up as a first step. And for some reason, I was just drawn to them on this morning, and I was like, okay, vision boards, I see you. I see you, vision board. I'm coming for you. I don't know why my voice just changed, but that's what I said. I'm coming for you. And there's this one little section on my vision board that I was just really drawn to. And there's like a little thing I'll show you in a couple minutes that says, that I put on there, and it says moved by spirits. And I focused on that. And then there's a little clip of one that says giver, and giver of energy and high vibes. So I was just kind of drawn to that message, but specifically the moved by spirits kind of little blurb that I had put up there. And through my entire day, you know, something synchronistic would happen, and I would be like, okay, I got it. That made sense. And I connect the dots. And every time I do that, in my head, I think, I don't know, in my intuition, whatever, I would hear moved by spirits, moved by spirits. So every time I was seeing something, connecting the dots and getting it right, I would hear this whisper, moved by spirits, kind of like. So it was just stuck in my head. And, you know, that was what I focused on in the morning, kind of setting that intention. Okay, so now I want to tie that into kind of the end of the day, just to bring it full circle, like I said I would do, because this theme carried through to the end of the day. And as I was at home getting ready for bed, I was texting with Ariana, who is a fellow YouTuber. And you know what? She's not just a YouTuber, she is now a friend. And Ariana's channel is The Realm of Prosperity, so you definitely have to check her out. I'll link her below. I've mentioned her many times in different videos, but we were texting at the end of the day, and I realized that she had sent me a text message earlier in that day, and I knew I read it, but I was so in the hustle and bustle of work and the go of my day. I remember reading the text message and agreeing with it as I was laying in bed, and we were having this other conversation about like how palpable this day was and how amazing this day was. I was reading through the messages of the day that we had, and I stopped in my tracks because I found a message from her, the one that I was referencing, and I stopped because the message that she wrote said, the spirit is moving. Just want to put that out there. Now, I want to just make it clear that she sent me that initial text message out of the blue. Like, we weren't having a previous conversation throughout the day. I hadn't even told her any of the wild things that were going on for me throughout the day. She felt compelled to just send me a message at that point saying, the spirit is moving. As I was in bed rereading the message and seeing that, it just clicked. And again, the sheer choice of her words, the spirit is moving, tied to the intention I set that day, from looking at my vision board, moved by spirits, from all the synchronicities, me hearing moved by spirits every time I was getting something right and connecting the dots, you know. It was just so beautiful the way it came full circle. And it again was that confirmation that yes, beautiful things are happening today. And apparently it wasn't just happening to me. That divine like energy, that palpableness. I don't even know if either of those are words, but clearly it was palpable, and it was collectively felt at some level too. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so at this point you have context on how my day started, how my day ended, the synchronicity there. You have some stories as to kind of little things that were happening throughout the day with the billboards, but also clearly the birds and the awareness of those. And, you know, I'm going back to the birds because, you know, when you hear me in the parking lot, in that clip in the video saying to the bird that flew away, like, what message do you have for me? You know, at the end of my day, or I'm sorry, when I was going home from work, I still didn't feel like I had an answer, like clearly, you know, as to what the birds actually really meant. I was thinking about this on my drive home because I kept still seeing all of these birds everywhere. Beautiful. Look at that guy. He came out of nowhere. I was looking at the sunset, thinking how pretty that is, and he came. And then also, you know, as I'm driving home and still wondering like, okay, this is still happening. I'm still not really sure what it means. I then see a license plate that says woodpecker. Check it out. I don't know if you can see that, but it says woodpecker. A day that I've been seeing geese and birds galore, woodpecker. And rewinding a bit again, I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but at work too, I just want to bring up a point that I was in a meeting at work and I had to stop everyone from talking because I was like, guys, like, does anybody hear an owl? Like, I feel like I'm hearing an owl. It's like, it was like a purring, hooting, I don't know what it was. And they just looked at me like I was absolutely cray-cray, like, what are you talking about? But I would have bet my life on it that I heard an owl or I felt the presence of an owl. Like, I couldn't make sure, but all I was getting was an owl. Turns out it was just like the mini fridge that we had in that meeting room, but that's not the point. The point is now an owl, another bird showed up into my awareness at work. So when we're talking about my drive home and me realizing, you know, something's happening because that white bird is still there, I'm seeing this woodpecker license plate, you know, the owl thing at work, I'm just like, again, what does this mean? Like, what? So I needed to know some meanings. So I went to my favorite place of all time to get all of my spiritual information, YouTube. And I looked up some of the meanings tied to owls, to the geese that I was seeing, to woodpeckers, to just like birds overall, and kind of planes as well. And I'm not going to get so much into those meanings. I'll link all of those videos below for you if you want to check those out. But I'm going to talk about the meanings that resonated for me in the context of this video, voiding the void, kind of getting this message that it's time for change. It's time to pursue my life purpose. The owl. The owl is really about the ability to see beyond the veil. It's the seeker of truth, and it's a call to explore the unknown. Owls represent seeing the unseen, seeing one's true spirit or their higher self, and it's this connection to the spiritual realm. But one thing that stuck out to me in the video for owls that is linked below in the context of, like I said, coming out of my spiritual void and feeling like I was supercharged in the light of this glorious day, was that owls are meant to help you navigate the darkness and to get clarity. They represent revelations, having things finally be revealed to you. They represent intuition, and just all of that was confirmed to me yesterday by that assumption or feeling or knowing that I had sensed an owl near me. I think it's no coincidence that I saw a woodpecker license plate, you know, at a time that in my life I was banging my head against a spiritual wall, metaphorically, that spiritual void, you know, much like a woodpecker just pecks and pecks and pecks at that tree. But woodpeckers remind us to stay patient, to stay determined. They remind us that our hard work, it is going to pay off. There is going to be a breakthrough. Woodpeckers signify that you're in sync with the rhythm of life. You're connected. You never lose that connectivity. They remind us just don't get stuck in a pattern. Just don't get stuck in monotony or in a routine. The same just pecking away at a non-satisfying life. They ask you to change things up, make life fun, like those fun little playful birds I was seeing, just dancing and floating around. They want you to understand that you're creating something so much bigger for yourself. And again, all of these messages from that woodpecker license plate were just so symbolic for representing me coming out of the spiritual void and reminding me that, yes, it's time to shake things up, and it's time. Geese. First and foremost, geese represent synchronicity. So how perfect is it that I saw all of these geese on a day that I kept saying was charged with so much spiritual energy, with sign after sign after sign for me. It affirmed for me that yes, you are tapped in, Abby. Your intuition, your gut, it's elevated now, especially as of today. You're going to start to see more of this more easily now. You can hear this more easily now. You can feel into this more easily now. And geese symbolize our intuition too. So they represent, you know, that feeling of that tapped inness that I just said. They also represent community and working together to benefit everybody. Much like I hope this channel is going to inspire everyone to be a community and to share experiences and light the way for each other on this path. No man left behind until all of us have grown, expanded, and continue just being supportive of each other in this community. You know, when they show up for you in your awareness, it's to help you realize that it is time to follow your path, your bliss, your life purpose, your spiritual quest. And for me, it's becoming more and more clear to me every day that YouTube is a major component of my own life purpose, to be able to share my message with everyone, hence lighting the way for those on their way to the light. Yeah, so great. I looked up all those meetings. Of course, that resonated with me so hardcore, especially with all of the messages I got and know in terms of life purpose and direction and other synchronicities that happened, which will be in those upcoming 2 videos. But I still have to say I was a little bit confused still overall about, okay, like why birds, or what is this message still? There was a piece of this link missing, and I didn't want to lose that connectivity that I was feeling too, and just knowing that there was a piece of that day that I felt like hadn't clicked everything together for me. And I was driving home, like I said, obviously you saw in that clip from work, and I was thinking that, you know, that I don't fully get the whole thing still, that I have all this energy and I don't want to waste it today. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go look to see if they have a class at the Spiritual Development Center that I was going to a couple of times a week before I went on vacation. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I ended up going to the site to look for this class, and long story short, the class was sold out, but the minute I clicked out of like the place that you register, this guy showed up. I was like, oh my God, this white bird is back. Like, what do you have to tell me? But even though I didn't get like that missing link in terms of the whole white bird specifically, because like that was what I was seeing most, that's what set me on the path to know something was happening at the beginning of the day. It followed me throughout the day, even when I pulled into my own parking spot at home, whatever. This white bird, I knew there was more to that. So I just think it's so funny that I ended up seeing this white bird. And even though I didn't get that answer, when I saw that on this class that was coming up at that center, I literally didn't even read the description or do anything. I immediately just went and signed up for that class because clearly there is a message that I need to hear. So I will be front and center in that class on May 19th, and you know it that I will keep you posted with probably a YouTube video around that experience. So again, subscribe and tap that notification so you do not miss it. Wow, I feel like I have been talking for the longest time. So if you are still listening, oh, thank you. I have more. Okay, so now I just wanted to give a few quicker, I don't know if I say quick because clearly I just said I talk a lot, but I have a few examples of just things that I got throughout the day too that don't relate to birds or the other things that you've heard at the beginning of this video. So let's check those out. Number 1, so I had stopped to grab food on my drive home and I grabbed pizza. Don't judge me, okay? I grabbed some pizza, all right? Yeah, the sun judged me too. So as I was sitting there stuffing my face driving home with pizza, I caught the sun at just like this way that it again pulled me in. Like it was just like meant for me to catch the sun. And it felt like it was literally staring at me, like scolding me. Like I felt like I was in trouble with the sun. I know I sound crazy, but that's what it felt like. And I just knew intuitively, like, you gotta stop kind of this binge eating you've been doing lately, and it's time now. It's time. You're leveled up. It's greens, get back on healthy foods. You have to eat a certain way, clean. Your body's the temple, right? Green stuff, water, okay? So stop eating this crap, basically. And I legitimately couldn't finish the rest of my pizza after that. So I get home and I go to my iPad to start logging in, and I open it up, and the minute that I open up my iPad, again, universe has a sense of humor because the first thing that showed on my screen was this. Clearly the universe saying, yep, nope, I still see you, just here, read this, watch this, because you need to know this and start doing this. It's just funny. So number 2, so I was laying in bed that night with my iPad on, as you just heard, and I'm firstly watching that video because clearly I just had to. But I was listening to that video and something just caught my eye on the TV in front of me and made me like take my headphone off, like knowing that I had to watch what was for me. And the minute I took my headphone off, again, have no idea why I just did that. It was natural for me. Took it off. I looked up at the screen on the TV and the lady on the screen, this was the exact quote she said: "When you're honest about who you are, good things happen." Number 3. This is all about just kind of that third eye and this like awareness and seeing the world or a new layer, right? So this whole day, like mostly during my drive and when I had the chance to be outside, nature just became like frozen, but it stood still, yet it still had this subtle like flow and just constant movement to it. It was like just out of a movie, and everything was so beautiful. A tree looked as if it were a painting. Like it looked so majestic. And there were like, I noticed flowers now and grass is green. And I noticed just these little subtleties of life and nature and movement that I just never had paid attention to lately. And even as I'm driving home, like there's this little overpass, and this little overpass has all of these lampposts on it. And in 5 years that I've driven over that little overpass, I have never taken a second to look at those lampposts. And this glorious day, I was drawn to them and I noticed they were so beautiful. They were so like antique or historic looking with so much detail, and they were just so beautiful and had so much character and so much detail. And I just thought to myself, like, how funny. Of course, like today is all about seeing the light, like, and literally, like I saw the light, those lampposts for the first time in 5 years. Number 4 is just like I said, enjoying those little signs too, right? So even if I was still confused, which, for all of the signs that I was getting and had no idea what that whole day meant to me, the funny part is, well, I couldn't get it confused because the universe made it super easy for me to get the message by literally sending me the message. Check out this text I got. All right, number 5. Finally, I'm almost done here, okay, right? So if you had watched my spiritual awakening video where I talk about the light beam shining out of my forehead, at the end of that video, I mentioned how I was uncomfortable for where I was at spiritually to end that video by saying namaste. Watch this clip. So it only now feels right to end this video by saying namaste. Except I am not quite there in my path where that feels completely natural to say. So, well, on this glorious, glorious day that I had, synchronistically, of course, on the radio, they were talking about the word and what it actually meant. So they explained some different meanings or how it's interpreted, this word namaste. And one meaning that the host said was, namaste means the light in me honors the light in you. So today, as I sit here and I'm wrapping up this video for you, I absolutely have no more hesitation, no more resistance to saying namaste, because I truly know in my soul that it's true. The light in me does honor the light in you. And as again, I wrap this up, I just want to say thank you. Just thank you so much for being a part of this channel, a part of my journey, just for being you, and thank you for watching. So please remember to like, please remember to comment, please remember to share and hit that subscribe button. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.